What is going on? Look at that. I'm a little tall for this one. Actually, I say that. Let me do this. Oh, better. Got that going. Let me go live on all platforms real quick and we'll get this started, guys. Gonna make sure we get you guys some solid value today. We're gonna be talking about supplementation because I know a lot of people have questions on that. They don't want to go wasting money on stuff they don't need. So I'm gonna make sure you guys are getting stuff that you actually need. And this is gonna be stuff that everybody is going to benefit from. Like, this needs to be just about on everyone's stack. So there are very, very, very few situations where what I'm going to be talking about today is not going to apply to most people. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys understand that. Just mainly for the fact that, like, we need to make sure that supplements are not the main sake of the game, right? Like, it's not like it's a I say make or break. It's not like it's going to make or break your results, right? The basic things that are going to get you guys results are going to be your nutrition with I say whole foods, with food, tracking calories, tracking protein, stuff like that, making sure you're getting in plenty of water. And then it is going to be exercise and rest, right? That being said, supplementations definitely freaking help. And so, excuse me, freaking burping up here from the caffeine drink I drank earlier. But I see a lot of people out there who dismiss supplementation because they want to act like it's freaking, I don't know, that some people out there really don't take anything, right? They have this mentality that I don't take anything, whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you guys, you're not going to be as healthy as someone, or you're not going to be as optimal. You're not going to be as optimized. You're not going to be as athletic. You're not going to have as good performance as someone who is using all the tools they have necessary. Okay? I think the why some people do this is they get into the back of their mind is like, it's, I don't know what they think. Some people think it's like cheating to an extent. I don't know why the hell they think that. That's a crazy thing to think. That's a stupid thing to think that just because something to supplement. And I say that, some of you guys are going to go, yeah, that is stupid to think. Well, there's people out there, there's a lot of people out there that do that. There's a lot of people out there that don't take anything and they think they're better for it, and they're not. All right? Listen, technically my bed's a tool, but I'm definitely using that thing to get better rest, okay? Stop being stupid. That's a stupid way to think. There's a lot of people out there that think that way, and I'm telling you right now, it's holding you back. Stop doing that, okay? That being said, what we're going to be talking about today are going to be at least my top 3 supplements that I make every single one of my people that start with me start taking, right? Now, one of these I've recently kind of switched up, mainly just because I do think this is a little bit more beneficial for people. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. Fish oils, right? Fish oils, and the only type of person who can't take fish oils is someone who's allergic to fish, right? And there are those out there, right? We need to make sure that we're not getting caught up in that regard as well, because there are definitely people out there that are like deathly allergic to that stuff. And so obviously we need to make sure you guys aren't just like freaking taking that stuff, right? So, and I mean deathly allergic. I had one client one time, literally, I think she had accidentally eaten fish at a dinner one time, and she was freaking like, they had to put her out on the table and revive her. Like, it was a whole ordeal. Like, there are people out there like that. That being said, if that's you, very small percentage of people, but again, I've had clients that had that. I want to make sure you got this information. You do need to look for some kind of like, for one, you definitely need to make sure you're taking a better care of your cardiovascular health, because obviously you're not going to get a huge benefit that most other people get, which is going to be those fish oils. And guys, the reason fish oils are like, they are extremely beneficial in this regard mainly comes down to the fact that, like, when you take fish oils, they act as what's called a vasodilator. We're going to get a little scientific with you guys. But, like, what it's going to do is it's going to actually open your arteries up just a bit and allow for better blood flow and help you flush out stuff that's maybe getting stuck up in your arteries, right? And so that's a huge thing when we're talking about heart health, brain health, reducing inflammation, joint recovery, all of the above. And so obviously, if you're someone who's working towards fat loss goals, you probably need to be working on that cardiovascular health, which is where fish oils come into play. It's the big reason why a lot of Asian cultures, especially people from like Japan, tend to have very, very high, like long lives. Is it comes down to their diet has a lot of fish in it. And that is like, I mean, let me Google this. I don't know if they're like, what culture, or I guess what country has the longest lifespan? life expectancy. Let's try that. Monaco. Really? Then there's Hong Kong and Japan's also there too. What do people in Monaco eat? That's crazy. Low obesity rates and diets rich in fish. Okay, well there you go. I guess they eat fish too. So that's exactly what it is. And then fermented foods, which are good for gut health and stuff like that. We might do live streams on that in the future. But prime example, right? Like something to go ahead and give you guys like an example of how this is actually like in play. Like we visibly can see the results of this. We've been seeing the results honestly for hundreds of years. Like these individuals, and again, it all stems down to like the highest life expectancies are Monaco, Hong Kong, San Marino, Japan. The reason why low obesity rates and diets rich in fish, plant foods, and fermented food. So they're getting high proteins. They're eating lots of fish. They're eating fermented foods, which are helping with their gut biome, which is a big factor as well. And so something to kind of keep in mind here, guys, like fish oils are a big thing. If you're talking about, if you're doing this for your health, if you're doing this for longevity, if you're doing this also, especially for performance, because obviously better heart health is going to help with your performance in the gym, then we need to make sure that we are getting on top of that. So fish oils is definitely something I do recommend for everybody, except for people who are obviously allergic to, like I said, fish. Very small subset of people, but again, I've trained people like that before, so I got to put that information out there. Next one is pretty damn big. Like my clients know this. If you're one of my people, you know I'm big about this, especially about these next two. Vitamin D, right? I don't give a flying fuck how much you're outside, okay? I don't care if you work outside. You're not outside as much as our ancestors were. Why? Because they literally were living in huts, and some of them weren't even doing that. They were sleeping under the stars. Literally, for thousands of years, okay? So, you need to understand the human body needs a lot of vitamin D, and we are not getting that. Where am I right now? I'm inside doing a live stream for you guys. A lot of you guys are sitting in cars. A lot of you guys are sitting inside. A lot of you guys are sleeping in houses, okay? I don't care how much you work outside. You're not getting as much vitamin D as you're genetically designed to. In fact, it's so much to a point that it's the one of the most deficient vitamins in the United States, okay? So I don't give a fuck. I don't care how much you think you're outside. You 100% need to make sure you're taking vitamin D. It is going to help you. Why? Because it's directly linked to testosterone levels, okay? We need to make sure a lot of you guys are having low T, for example. And I'll go ahead and tell you this right now, guys. Vitamin D is one of the things they put into TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. They put vitamin D in there for a reason, okay? It's huge. It's also linked to your immunity, your mood, your body composition. Like, it affects a lot of things. A lot of you guys are deficient in it, okay? I would recommend, if we're talking about amount, now let me go back to fish oils because I want to go ahead and address this right now. When it comes to fish oils, I do not think you can do too much, right? Unless you're literally just drinking fish fat. None of you guys are going to go do that. It would be disgusting, okay? Most of you guys don't even want to take the fish oil pills because of the fishy burps, right? Just take what's on the bottle, but you can take a lot of fish oils. There are people that take it like 10 times a day, and I'm not kidding. A lot of athletes out there that are serious about their sport do take fish oils multiple times a day because it gives you that much of a benefit. It reduces your resting heart rate to that degree, which is huge. Right? That's something you'll notice with a lot of athletes. Most athletes will have resting heart rates below 50, which is incredible, but it just means that they have great cardiovascular health, which is good. That's where longevity lies. But you got to make sure that, like, how do we make that happen? High water intakes, fish oils help a lot, and making sure you don't have a lot of body fat. Dude, those three things will reduce a significant portion of deaths in the United States. But a lot of people aren't doing that. That's why I'm getting this information out to you guys. But as far as vitamin D goes, I would probably recommend anywhere between the 2,000 to 4,000 IUs a day. It depends on your weight. Depends on your sun exposure, right? If you are outside a lot of day, you probably only need to take 2,000 IUs, right? But you still need to take it. Like, do not limit that. I promise you, most people, a majority of people are deficient in this. Now, that doesn't mean go take 10,000 IUs a day, but some of you guys do need to. So I know people who are prescribed that much. Well, actually, no, they take that weekly. That's a dumb thing to do. And I'll go ahead and say this now. Listen, guys, I am no doctor, but there are doctors out there who prescribe 10,000 IUs once a week. That's a stupid thing to do from the side of nutrition, okay? You need to take it throughout the week. You don't need to take it throughout, like, once a week. That's a stupid thing to do. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know why doctors do that shit. Because they're doctors that have not do not deal with nutrition. They help someone get a gastric bypass, and now they're prescribing people shit that they don't know how that fucking works, right? And I know this because I fucking work in the field, and I've helped doctors do this kind of shit, and I've helped people who have had gastric bypasses and them have extremely terrible stomach aches because their doctor doesn't even tell them to eat vitamin D with food. By the way, great time to tell you, you need to take this with food because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. What does that mean? Fat soluble means it's not going to digest properly, or you're not going to absorb it unless you have fat in your system. You need to eat this with a meal. Okay? If you just take this and you drink water with it and you do it on an empty stomach, it's going to go right fucking through you. And not only that, it's going to give you some pretty bad stomach aches. People who have had gastric bypasses in the past have half of their stomach, right? Have a hard time absorbing that. And so they, especially if they're taking 10,000 IUs a day, which is crazy. I think that's crazy. That gives them incredibly bad stomach aches, and they barely can fucking take it. And so make sure you're taking this shit with a meal. And you, again, guys, 2,000 to 4,000 IUs should be plenty. Yeah, I usually do vitamin D gummies. It's a free chance to eat gummies throughout the day. Okay, and I promise you, it's a lot easier to take than fucking pills. So I would recommend doing that. But there you go. Vitamin D, very big, very high on my list, especially for making sure that your natural testosterone levels are where they need to be. Do not miss that part, okay? The last one's also huge, this one's especially for my fucking athletes out there, guys, because this is an electrolyte, right? This is one of the most underused electrolytes. You hear about it all the time. We're going to be talking about magnesium, okay? Now, when it comes down to magnesium, it's still, you hear it a lot. I still think a lot of people are extremely deficient in it, and especially if you're going to be sweating a lot, which if you're going to do my training, you're fucking going to be sweating, I promise. You're going to need this. And magnesium does a lot of different things besides just being an electrolyte, right? And in case you guys don't know, we might do a live stream on electrolytes later this week. Let me write that down. Live stream on electrolytes. We might keep it nutrition-based this week. But when it comes down to electrolytes, what they're doing, just to give you guys a quick summary, we'll do a live stream on this, but they're basically helping your body deal with muscle contractions by being able to send an electric current through it. That's literally kind of what's going on. This is the exact same reason, actually, like when you guys, if you've ever heard of a TENS unit, right? And you put those TENS units are basically things you pop onto your muscles, wherever when you put it on throughout your body. A lot of physical therapy people use it. If you watch Jackass, like one of those TV shows, they used to use it on different areas of their body just to prank each other. But what it'll do is it'll cause a muscle contraction by sending an electric current through your body, right? And your electrolytes are a big part of that factor. They're what allow that current to go through a lot of the ways, along with obviously water intake and stuff like that. But when it comes to magnesium, magnesium is one of the most deficient in most people. Simply, most people are just not getting a lot of it in their diet, right? So that being said, there's a bunch of things magnesium do. It's one of the most important electrolytes in your body too. So it helps with supporting your sleep, muscle relaxation. This is why, for example, you guys may have heard of Epsom salt, right? Epsom salt is something people will use in baths to help relax themselves or help with muscle recovery. Epsom salt is magnesium salts. Your body absorbs the magnesium through the water, through your skin. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how to use Epsom salt, but that's exactly what Epsom salt is. Like, in fact, I don't even know exactly what kind it is, but let me look it up. Magnesium sulfate. Yeah. So you're absorbing that magnesium into your skin, and that's allowing you to recover better, right? It's actually allowing you to get a source of magnesium. Now, it's not, I need to say this because you guys are going to walk into like wherever you're going to buy these supplements, right? And you're going to be like, well, which magnesium do I need to get, right? Do I need to get magnesium sulfate? Do I need to get magnesium citrate? Do I need to get magnesium oxide? Do I need to get magnesium glycinate? There's all these different kinds of magnesiums. And not all magnesiums are made the same, right? The magnesiums kind of do different things in your body depending on the form. For example, magnesium citrate's typically more used for digestion. A lot of you guys don't know that, but magnesium citrate is one of the #1 ingredients in a lot of laxatives, right? So magnesium also plays a role. A lot of you guys don't even know this, but it's huge. Like, this affects your digestion. A lot of you guys who are like complaining about being bloated, it's probably because you don't have a lot of magnesium in your diet and you're probably stopped up. Like, that's the real thing, because magnesium plays a huge role because it works on muscle contractions, it plays a huge role on your colon and your intestines. They are what allow these muscles to squeeze and digest food, right? And that's actually a thing a lot of people don't realize, and that's, a lot of people are super deficient in magnesium. Magnesium also plays a huge role because it focuses on recovery and stress management. It also plays a huge role on cortisol and testosterone as well. So something you guys need to know. There's so many people out there, especially people who are trying to get into fitness. You're not even addressing your recovery, and it's showing. All right. The reason you're fucking struggling and you feel like you're spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere when it comes to fitness is because you're not focusing on all the aspects. You think it's all about going to the gym really hard for a couple days out of the week, and it's not. There's a lot of aspects to this, okay? One of these is your nutrition and recovery, and magnesium plays a role in both of these, okay? This is why I have people get on magnesium ASAP. Now, what kind of magnesium do you need? It depends on what you're doing, right? Again, you also need it for it's a basic electrolyte for muscle recovery. So again, you need it for muscle contractions. So if you're sweating a lot, you're losing a lot of those electrolytes when you sweat. You need to make sure you're replacing them. You need to make sure you're taking a magnesium supplement, okay? Now, if you're low in, dairy is actually a good source of most electrolytes. Again, we'll cover a lot of this on the electrolyte live stream here coming up, probably on Thursday. But one thing you got to understand, guys, is, again, I don't think that's enough. I do think a lot of you guys, including myself, I take magnesium every single freaking day. It's very big on my list. But I always make sure I'm taking it because I sweat like crazy. And I always need to make sure my muscles are recovering. So I make sure I'm taking magnesium every freaking day. And if you want it to help you with your sleep, you can actually take it at night. Now, that being said, let's go over the types, right? Like I said, it depends on what you're going through. If you feel like you need help with your digestion, which, guys, sometimes I feel like I do, you need magnesium citrate, okay? You need to make sure you're not taking too much. I would stick with what it says to take on the bottle. But magnesium citrate will be the one you want to take that's going to help with your digestion, and it's going to help you get a source of magnesium in. Now, if you're fine with your digestion, you feel pretty regular, you don't feel like anything's going wrong with that, I would recommend magnesium glycinate because it's the one that's not going to affect anything, right? I'd say affect anything. It's not going to give you that, that side effect of, feeling like you got to go take a crap. And that is, like I said, magnesium glycinate, it will do that. Like I said, guys, if you guys go, look at the laxative section in any kind of, store, you're going to see, if you look on the back of those laxatives, the number one ingredient is going to be magnesium citrate, okay? So, now, that being said, it's a super high dose of magnesium citrate. That's why it gives you that laxative effect. If you just take it like a supplement, it's not going to, just make you shit your britches, okay? It's going to make you, probably a little bit more regular. It's not like it's a huge dose. It's meant for taking it daily. Now, if you take, 6 of those things, yeah, maybe, okay? So, something to kind of keep in mind. I always like to tell you guys that because I don't want you guys to be surprised by the effects. But, again, when it comes down to magnesium, they play a huge role in recovery. They play a huge role in your nutrition and electrolytes. More importantly, they play a huge role in your testosterone and your cortisol levels, right? Your stress hormones. So it's something I make sure these 3, like I said, fish oils, vitamin D, magnesium, those are a staple of just about every single one of my clients' diet. And that's that way for a reason. Okay. Now, you guys may be asking, well, what about creatine? I think creatine's fucking amazing. Okay, I need to make sure you guys understand that now. I take creatine every single day. That being said, I typically don't recommend creatine for my people until we get the water intake down. If you start trying to get this going, if you start trying to do the creatine without having the water intake down, it's going to increase your blood pressure, which is not going to be great for your heart, right? I'm more interested in making sure you have a healthy heart first and keeping that healthy heart, because not having a healthy heart is what kills most people when it comes to obesity related disease, right? Or just being unfit in general. You don't have to be obese at all to have these heart issues, guys, at all. You just have to have a bad heart, and this causes that if you aren't getting that water intake down first. So we start with water intake and fish oils, make sure that heart health is good, and then as soon as we're getting at least half our weight in ounces, then I throw on creatine. And yes, creatine is that freaking supplement. It will get you a ton of results. So make sure you're hammering down on that water intake so you can take that shit, because it will help you. It's probably going to help you more than any other supplement out there as far as helping you burn fat and build muscle. Creatine is definitely going to be up there, but you have to make sure you're getting that water intake in or it's not going to do shit. Understand that first, because I see a lot of people out there just taking stuff, doing what they think's the right thing to do, and they're not putting any thought behind it. They're just watching people online and doing what they do instead of doing what they need to do, right? Make sure you're paying attention to your goals, not someone else's online, right? That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. This live stream will be up for about a month, and then it'll be taken down on Facebook. But on YouTube, this thing stays up. So make sure you guys go subscribe to me on YouTube. I'll try sometime soon. I do plan on getting a new phone so I can actually go live on TikTok as well. So for my TikTok peeps out there who are watching this, who are like, why is he not going live on TikTok? Can only go live on so many platforms at one time at the moment, but we're going to advance that here later and soon. So be on the lookout for that. Again, I'll be going live on Thursday with electrolytes. I think that'll be a good topic to follow this up with, get you guys information there so you can understand why those are so important, and especially if you want to be athletic, if you want to be performance driven, if you want to be extremely, extremely freaking fit. It's a non-negotiable. You need to make sure you're getting on those. But we'll cover those on Thursday. I'll talk to you guys then. Peace out.